Good day and welcome on board Pertinent Questions on Western Spring Television. My name is Femi Adefila. May Day or Workers' Day, or should I say International Workers' Day, is a day that commemorates the struggles again of workers and labor movement across the globe. Today is celebrated across the globe in many countries of the world to commemorate the gains and the struggle of workers. Today is Workers' Day in Nigeria. We'll be looking at Nigerian workers and the Nigeria milieu. And I have someone who is a veteran labor activist and NUT activist, to be precise, Chief Wale Oyeniyi. He retired as the Deputy General Secretary, National Union of Teachers, National Headquarters in Abuja. Sir, you welcome on the program.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I see you.
Today is May Day, International Workers' Day. How will you describe the plight of Nigerian workers as far as Nigerian society is concerned, taking into cognizance the economy and everything?
Plight of Nigerian workers, it has not changed. I think it's getting worse. If one looks at what happens in 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and up to today, and with this regime, it's even worse. What are we going to look at? Though it's different from workplace to workplace, but generally, we didn't find it so easy, all workers in Nigeria. I've never seen anything they gained. Let's look at it from the economic point of view. When the military, when they were in government, things were good for workers. Everybody knew that. It was the regime of Obasanjo that really raised the minimum wage. He raised minimum wage, and Salami Abubakar really carpeted it. After him, I think things are not the same again in terms of minimum wage. And if one looks at what their colleagues, what other people like the politicians, what they were earning, won't be disappointed. You see, as a labor man, you consider it. You look at the indices. You consider, because we apply the same market. Our wives apply the same market with their wives. Our children go to the same school with them. So we look at what is going on. If I may be correct, a senator in Nigeria goes home with nothing less than, according to the rumor we are hearing and the indices from the vineyard, no less than 25 million a month.
But the context that most often they're not.
No, but that is the fact. And the House of Rep, 30 to 15 million a month. Money this, wardrobe, this allowance, when you try together, it amount to that. And when you look at a worker, in fact, there's even a problem among the worker circle. There's federal workers, there's state workers, there's local government workers. Federal workers, when you look at director and the federal workers, their salary is about 400,000 a month.
Okay.
Director in federal civil service. In state like Osun, others is, I think it's about 200 and something thousand.
Okay.
If you are the head of service of the federation, your salary will be something like around 900. Head of service of Osun for other states, maybe something like 500. And when you look at local government, local government and the state workers, what they are getting, you compare it. People are being distracted, they are not happy. There's disillusionment. People, we tend to compare. That's why we are saying we are worse for it. So economically, we are not better off at all. When we look at the neighborhood, when we look at what is happening around us.
Talking about the economy, Chief Oyeniyi, people have argued that should workers much pressure on government to strengthen the economy instead of asking for more pay. Because I've heard the story of the good old days when a Peugeot 504 sold for less than 5,000 naira.
Yes.
People say, is it by the quantum of the money that workers earn or the strength of the naira in their hand? Then why can't workers plot the graph of how to revive the economy with political actors instead of asking for quantum of money to be paid that we achieve nothing?
You see, it's good when we say we want to better the economy. But economy cannot be bettered when some sections are earning more. You know, if somebody goes home with 15 million or 13 million or say 10 million, and somebody goes home with 400,000, they will play the same market. So the fact is there. And when you have bad government that knows nothing about economy, you know, people have been saying something about Emefiele, this money, this cashless policy.
Yes, sir.
It hasn't just started. But our Nigerians, we are just lukewarm, like Adasika. The thing started about 3 or 4 years ago. This policy of APC. I mean, that's why people like us now, we don't check that government. We don't check this because we know what they are doing is bad. Look at how, how they started. When Buhari came into power.
In 2015.
Yes.
8 years ago.
Yes.
Not 4.
The dollar by that time, when the data was here, was 168.
That's right.
If it's that, then Buhari now from 168 now, it was rising. Now, dollar is 730 as of today.
That's right.
Is that a good something? Apart from that, when Buhari came to power, there's what we call Western Union transfer. There's MoneyGram. Buhari now made a policy that you can only send money to your child abroad or anything abroad only once in 90 days, 3 months, and that is $1,000. During dollar time, you can send as many thousands. When he made that law, 3 months, for $1,000. What will you buy? How can you use that law for your students, for your children abroad? We are managing it.
That's right.
As at now, the only country in the world where you cannot use Western Union to send money or MoneyGram to send money is Nigeria. You can't even send money now through Western Union now.
That's right.
He cancelled everything. Go to Ghana, you can send Western Union there. So these are the things, the policy now they are making. They are making economically. And the thing, now, if you want to send school fees, Buhari now pay us to $10,000 before. Now, you can send 5,000. But your 5,000 now, it will take nothing less than 60 days. 60 days for you to send money to send school fees. You see, this is of bad economy management. So these are the things now they started, and people didn't look at it by that time. Until they now say cashless. Cashless has not just started. The economy has been bastardized before. People didn't talk.
This reinforces my argument that if the educational system in Nigeria is strong and produces quality graduates, perhaps there won't be need for us to even be sending our children and our wards abroad for university education. Now, why does the labor movement have an agenda to engage government on how to strengthen the sectors of the economy that will enhance the educational standard, the healthcare standard, instead of us hemorrhaging, exporting jobs, and sending wards and children abroad for university education?
You see, when you look at that question and the answer to it, a government does not get itself right. Cannot do all those things. They can't do all those things. Look at it, let's forget about politics. Let's forget about this thing. It's about what somebody can offer. When Ikonji Owela was the coordinating minister, look at how she was managing the economy. Look at how she was managing it.
So you don't forget that Ikonji Owela raised an alarm then that the way Nigeria was going, we were the precipice of a collapse. Now perhaps...
Yes, but he had it. She had it, if you remember.
I understand, but perhaps Buhari inherited the rot of the Jonathan administration. So he is bearing the consequences of the mismanagement of Jonathan government.
She had it that hope is not lost. That is not all that bad. She said it.
But
there were signs. Like what is happening in other advanced countries now, there are signs, but they know how to manage it. But in Nigerian context, they don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to manage it. So that is why you cannot say workers, because everybody is just about to grab.
Including workers?
No, some privileged ones.
But the argument
not all workers.
Is that
okay,
no politicians can perhaps steal money, a kobo, from the treasury of government without the active connivance of workers. That even most often than not, workers pave the way for corruption. They are the ones that teach politicians how to rape the nation and pilfer our common resources and patrimony. You see, that workers are as guilty as politicians that you often blame.
In labor circle, we have answer to that. Our answer is that who is a worker? Even the labor law of this country differentiated between a worker and the management. That is why when was it Abacha or something like that now said the management staff cannot go on strike. You see, if you are talking about the management, you are talking about the head of service.
They are also workers.
No. By labor, by definition.
Okay.
They are not workers.
They are what?
They are management. Management staffers.
So there's a distinction between management and workers.
Yes. You see what happened even up to.
I didn't know members of NSC.
Up to 1973.
Yes.
Teachers in Nigeria were not referred to as workers. It was 1973 Doji that made teachers in Nigeria to be workers. 1973, before 1973.
What were they before?
Yes.
They were just teachers.
No, they were just people now, majority of them now were employed by missionaries.
That's right.
And by that time, if a teacher wants to go on leave, maternity leave, it's without pay. By that time, before that time, they will now employ, they will say a teacher, temporary teacher, to take care for 3 months. But when Idoji was about to come, NUT by that time, God bless the leader by that time, they invited the WCC OTP. That's our worldwide party by that, our worldwide union by that time, WCTP. They now sent powerful people to Nigeria. They help us to negotiate, write memo. It was then now, they now journalists. So there is a difference between a worker and the migrant staffers.
Okay.
You see, if they are going strike now, they say only workers can go on strike, but migrant staff are not allowed
to go on strike.
That's not the case.
Okay.
So if I'm talking about management staffers, they are privileged people. Somebody is privileged. For instance, now, if somebody is GM of radio or television, you can't compare him to ordinary reporter or cameraman. What they'll be getting will be different. And if we say, don't let do this, so let's do that too. So they too, they are contribute to it. They are contribute to all those things. So we cannot say, but the ordinary workers performing their duties, they have no hands in it.
So a major issue within the labor movement today is minimum wage. The federal government announced a couple of days ago that they've raised the salaries by 40% of federal workers in Nigeria. Though they have disputed that. Federal workers have disputed that.
They didn't do it.
Now, what will you suggest as the appropriate minimum wage for an average Nigerian, taking into cognizance the reality of our economy?
If you say the reality, we consider many indices. What are the other people in other sectors are getting? What are the people in oil company NPC, what are they getting? You put all those into consideration. Why? What are they getting at NPC?
But it's a choice. It's a choice to be a civil servant. It's a choice to work in oil company. It's a choice to work in a radio station.
All of us cannot be the cameraman of a radio or television station.
That's right.
If everybody is a cameraman now, who will now interview?
Nobody.
Who will now be sweeping it from? That's how God makes it.
Okay.
Division of labor.
Okay.
So that some people are privileged. Doesn't make people that are not privileged.
Are you suggesting parity?
So that's what I'm saying. You look at parity. That's how we negotiate. You look at parity. When you look at parity, people have been saying it now. Cut the jamboree payment of political appointees. Once you do that, let them. You yourself, you know, sir. In Nigeria, I made one research. In Nigeria, a senator in Nigeria has more than a governor in US. Some governors in US. A senator in Nigeria. If you do that analysis, you will see. Google it now, you will see it. So let us cut everything and make it.
Though most of them they're not, they dispute that what they earn as approved by the National Wages and Salaries Commission officially is far less than 5 million naira a month.
Well, that is.
But when you compute the totality of the movement and the allowances,
something now they will say community. That's one term they use. They will say community allowance or something of that nature. They use community. I mean, they're not using that money. They don't use that money for anything. Allowance. They don't use that money. They don't use it. So the fact is, minimum wage. Let's say minimum wage. There must be relativity to it.
Let's interrogate.
Because if you say 40% of what? 40% of 30,000. How much is that? And look at what something is doing now. I mean, the economy of a nation now. How much is fuel now? Fuel is 240, 250.
But you need,
look at all those things.
In all this calculation, do you factor the ability of government to pay? If the nation is at the verge of being insolvent, we are the precipice, we are in a cul-de-sac as a nation. The ability of government to pay, and the workers factor the fact that government has responsibilities to other Nigerians outside labor and outside workers, the vulcanizer outside there, the bricklayer outside there. He's also a Nigerian. He has the right to benefit from the common patrimony. Okay. So the labor movement, do you factor that into your reasoning when you ask government for a raise in minimum wage?
You see, Osun State is public service state.
And it shouldn't be. It should be an agrarian state.
The fact is, whatever is paid to me, I go to the market.
That's right.
So when I talk about dietitian, it's because people now to patronize them. If I have a car, I don't have money to do that now. I just park it. And
the
mechanic engineer will not eat. If I have this anything equipment, electrical equipment, it goes for it. I don't have money to repair it now. I just park it. So the fact is, once they do the civil servants very well, it will affect other sectors. That's not the case. It will affect.
How does paying civil servant jumbo salary affect the educational sector, for instance?
Yes.
How does it build the educational system?
Let me explain that.
The Medicare, and other critical sector of the economy? How does it construct roads?
It will. When you look at the France country, there's in Sweden, they have one union there. They call them the Rafipundent. So they came to Nigeria, to us, and they saw in the paper that teachers are resigning. They now said, why? That in Sweden, it's not like that. That they don't even negotiate. The employer will just say, okay, because of economy something, they just increase salary. When you get to bank, you just allow them. The bankers will just allow them. Your employer has really increased your salary. What I'm saying in essence is that if you want all those things to happen, make these people now to be happy. How would they be happy? We've been fighting for teachers' salary structure since 1991. Up to today, they've not granted teachers. You see, if you want people now to perform, you want people now, there's a difference between having flair, having interest, and the circumstance now will prevent you. If somebody is a journalist now, he has interest in journalism, but is being paid. You say, what am I working for? What am I doing this thing? So if they do that for teachers, for other workers, let them be happy. They will look at those people now generating the tax. Once they are happy, they'll be able to go out generating more tax for people. For the government. But if they're not happy, they say, okay, the one we generated, how much are we giving you there? Is it not the politician that are? So the fact is, make these workers, public servants, let them be happy. How do you do that? When you take teachers example, we plan certain things for them, we recommend certain things for them. And I remember, well, you see, that's why people like us, when we talk at times, when Jonathan was there, there's this man from Kano.
Chikarau.
It
was Minister of Education.
God bless you. You remember, in Abuja at that time, Chikarau said, I was a teacher. Because he was a teacher, he was a principal.
That's right.
In fact, he went with us. We went together for Education International in Brazil. And we went together in Germany as a governor. he will have to with us. I mean, he will start that with us. If when they do that as the governor, he will say, no. He will rise up to say, no. I'm a teacher, I'm a principal. I belong to NUT. So this man now said he wanted to do teachers' conference before he left the office. Then he summoned some of us, civil servants, everybody, all the provosts, all the something. He now said teachers' conference is about making teachers happy throughout. Primary, secondary, tertiary, and tertiary institutions. The provosts were there, the vice chancellors were there, NUT were represented there. He said we should recommend what we think will make that profession enviable. And we did that. And his inaugural speech, he warned his servant. He warned them. I was there. He said, don't use civil service something to say that's not possible. You are not the only one. Let them recommend what they feel. We make education or something a standard in Nigeria. And we did that. And he took it. And he said he will pass it to the FEC. Unfortunately, there was a change of government. Part of the recommendation that we made by that time was that they should make education course in the universities, in the college education attractive. How would they do that? They should be giving anybody doing education in the university something like 70,000 as bursary a year.
What of other courses?
No.
That is discriminatory.
If you are doing education, because we know.
What of those who are doing mass communication, medicine, pharmacy,
if you are doing
architecture?
That, you see, education is the mother of all the professions. Once you have a very good teacher, motivated teacher, who are the people now that will teach people in secondary school biology, chemistry, physics? Are they not teachers? A mass communicator cannot just start from nowhere. You just have to do literature at the secondary school. To attract people. So to attract people to the profession.
That's right.
People are saying, I want to go to a company, I want to go to a bank. It's because people feel, but when you do that one, and we raise that TSS, if that is done, let them do it for workers too. People will be very happy. And they will contribute their quotas, and then nobody will complain again.
So you believe, Sir Chiboyeni, that the fact that we have challenges in the educational sector is because we don't have professionals within the sector. The teachers are not professional enough. People are just taking the teaching profession out of nothing to do, not because they have the flair or the passion for it.
Some are professionals, but they don't have flair for it. And society does not make them to have interest for it. Society does not make them to mark. Look at in those days, when we were in your state, there was this house to let, not for teachers. Is that not discriminatory?
House to let, not for teachers?
Not for teachers. House to let, not for teachers. Because they know they will not be paid on time.
That was then. That
was then.
But now salaries of teachers are regular.
Well, they are regular in Osun, in some other states.
Not across the nation?
No. Some are still being held. But notwithstanding, they are now.
But there are changes.
There are changes now. So I'm saying now that even when you have flair, when you have interest and circumstances, environmental factors is preventing you, you'll be able to contribute your own quotas. You see, when your wife goes to in Abuja, you are in Abuja. When you go to the shopping mall in Abuja, you see all those people now with Agbada. Somebody will follow them, and they will be taking things.
What's the problem with politicians?
You for the politicians, you follow them now when they want to do calculation, something like 12 million. You say, okay, let me calculate it. You say, even the changes, 500,000. You take it. You see, if your wife followed you, you say, and after all, I am contributing my own quota. So those are the things.
So are you preaching a more egalitarian society?
There should be equality. There should be equality. If there's equality, even if they don't raise it, let there be equality and better management of the economy. Better management of the economy. Now, once the economy is being managed well, I think it will be okay.
Chiboyeni, the big elephant in the room now is removal of subsidy. Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu made it clear, abundantly clear, that it is not sustainable for the Nigerian nation to continue to subsidize a commodity called fuel to the tune of 6.1 trillion naira. That he will remove it no matter how long labor movement protest. Do you subscribe to that? Do you support that, or you are against it?
I support him that he should remove the
subsidy.
Oh my God. How can a reasonable man should not support that thing?
Why?
The fact is, what you as a man now, what you get from the government? What do you gain directly from the government? You pay your tax, you pay everything. They levy you, they do everything. The only thing we enjoy is fuel. Once fuel is subsidized, you just go there to buy it very low. And it's good. But once the thing is removed now, what will be your benefit? How are you going to cope? They've not removed it now. We are buying fuel 240, 250. If they remove it, that will be 500. Commoners, workers, how will they cope? Tell me. So I want to warn him. If he did that one, that beginning of failure. And people like us now, we've seen that. And when people are saying, the governance is not about it's about ability to perform and make Nigerians to be enviable like other nations. You see, those are the things. So I want to warn him. If he did that one, that's calamity.
The question has been on fuel scarcity. Fuel subsidy.
Yes.
And of course, we are looking at the Nigerian worker within the Nigerian milieu. And my guest has been Chief Wale Oyeniyi. The program is Pertinent Question. It continues after this break. Thank you. Don't go anywhere.
Aminatu, the legendary Queen of Zazzau, is best known to historians as Queen Amina of Zaria, an old walled town and capital of the Hausa state of Zazzau. Amina was a great warrior and the first woman to rule the ancient kingdom of Zazzau. The 34 years as queen witnessed an unprecedented expansion of Zazzau by conquests. Queen Amina of Zaria belongs to the class of Amazons by the might of her army and her strings of conquests. She opened Zaria to trans-border trade and was said to have initiated kola nut cultivation in the ancient kingdom. The Hausa Muslim figure was born in 1533 and died in 1610 at the age of 77 years. Folklores remember Aminatu, the Queen of Zazzau, as a brave, smart and talented leader whose giant statue now adorns the National Arts Theatre in Lagos, Nigeria, while many educational institutions bear her name. Western Spring Television identifies Queen Amina as a watershed character in history. Born Jeremiah Oyeniyi Obafemi on March 6, 1905, Obafemi Awolowo was a prime architect of Nigeria's independence and most consummate advocate of free education and social welfare in Africa's most populous nation. Erudite politician, thinker and philosopher, Awo was fondly addressed by associates and political colleagues, brought his unique attributes to bear on governance in the defunct Western region. He administered as leader of government business and the premier between 1955 and 1958. Obafemi Awolowo's premiership witnessed pioneering in multi-sectoral policy initiatives and execution. The Western region under his administration paraded several enviable records. First television station in Africa, first real estate in Nigeria, first high-rise building in Nigeria, first modern sports stadium in Nigeria, first agricultural settlement in Nigeria, first modern civil service secretariat in Nigeria, and first industrial estate in Nigeria. His face is on 100 naira denomination as a mark of honor for his distinguished services to his country. Western Spring Television identifies Obafemi Awolowo as a major character in history. Fumilayo Ransom Kuti was an educationist and advocate of women's rights. She was recognized for her vitriolic comments against colonial policy of taxation as it affected the Nigerian women. Bere, as fondly addressed by her women followers, Fumilayo championed the initiation of universal adult suffrage, which gave an unprecedented leeway for women to contest elective offices and power to exercise voting rights. Married to a foremost educationist and teacher, Israel Oladotun Ransom Kuti, the first president of Nigeria Union of Teachers, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti was the mother of children who inherited her spirit of activism. Olufela and Be Ololari, the former, a renowned musical legend. She was the first female student of Abeokuta Grammar School and the first female to own and drive a car in Nigeria. The award recipient of Member of Order of Nigeria MON and Lenin Peace Prize, was born on 25th October 1900 and was killed on 13th April 1978 by rampaging road soldiers in Lagos. Western Spring Television identifies Fumilayo Ransom Kuti as a watershed character in history.
You welcome back on Pertinent Question, and the program is on the Labor Day, Workers' Day, International Labor Day, to commemorate the struggles and gain of workers and labor movement across the world. And I have in the studio a veteran labor activist, Chief Wale Oyeniyi, who retired as the Deputy General Secretary of the National Union of Teachers.
Nigeria Union of Teachers.
Nigeria Union of Teachers.
National Head Office.
At National Head Office. You welcome on the program once again.
Thank you, myself.
Yes. Now, the federal government has said, and international bodies have affirmed, that today the nation expends as much as 90% of its total revenue earning to pay debt, to service debt.
Ahmadu Bello, a Prince Royal, was born 6th of December 1910 at Raba Village, Sokoto, northwestern Nigeria. His father was a district head and heir apparent to the Sultanate throne from the house of Usmanu Danfodio, a religious and social reformer who brought the Habib dynasty under the Fulani Caliphate in the beginning of the 19th century. Ahmadu Bello raised the bar of political consciousness in participation when, in 1944, he engineered the establishment of the Northern People's Congress (NPC) as the first political party in northern Nigeria and the rallying point for politicians in the region before independence. History will not forget Ahmadu Bello for his charisma and political sagacity, which provided easy passage for his kinsmen to assume political and administrative positions in Nigeria's post-independence era. The distinguished elder statesman and Sardauna of Sokoto has his face on his country's 200 naira currency as a mark of honor to one of the architects of Nigeria's independence. Western Spring Television identifies Ahmadu Bello as a watershed character in history. This iconic African presents the narrative of a man destined to exert an imperishable global influence in Western education. His was a story of a freeborn, captured and sold into slavery. He was born in Oshogun, a native Yoruba village near Iseyin in Okeogun axis of southwest Nigeria. Samuel Ajayi Crowther was the foundation student of Fora Bay College, Sierra Leone, the foremost university where the pioneer set of native Africans were educated. Samuel Ajayi Crowther's greatest contribution to humanity was his translation of the Holy Bible into the Yoruba language. The man who authored the Yoruba dictionary was also credited with the translation of English classic hymns into Yoruba and the Ekwere languages. Samuel Ajayi Crowther's private residence in Badagry, incidentally the first story building in Nigeria, is an archival museum dedicated to the memory of Africa's first bishop. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ajayi Crowther as a watershed character in history. Born Jeremiah Oyeni Obafemi on March 6, 1905, Obafemi Awolowo was a prime architect of Nigeria's independence and most consummate advocate of free education and social welfare in Africa's most populous nation. Erudite politician, thinker and philosopher, Awo was fondly addressed by associates and political colleagues, brought his unique attributes to bear on governance in the defunct Western region. He administered as leader of government business and the premier between 1955 and 1958. Obafemi Awolowo's premiership witnessed pioneering in the multi-sectoral policy initiatives and execution. The Western region under his administration paraded several enviable records. First television station in Africa, first real estate in Nigeria, first high-rise building in Nigeria, first modern sports stadium in Nigeria, first agricultural settlement in Nigeria, first modern civil service secretariat in Nigeria, and first industrial estate in Nigeria. His face is on 100 naira denomination as a mark of honor for his distinguished services to his country. Western Spring Television identifies Obafemi Awolowo as a major character in history.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever expounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and fast. Detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
The Berlin Conference of 1884 defined the configuration of Africa, which hitherto existed as a continent of multiple kingdoms and empires under native rulers. The conference, otherwise referred to as Congo Conference, regulated European colonization and trade in Africa as initiated by German leader Otto von Bismarck. The Berlin Conference is often called the scramble for and partitioning of Africa, as each of the imperial powers carved separate portions of the continent for themselves without recourse to racial and cultural identities and differences. 137 years after the Berlin Conference was held, Africa remains a legitimized playground for European nations that sought to exploit its wealth and resources and manipulate its human capital to promote trades and investments of Western powers. Western Spring Television identifies Berlin Conference as a major event in history. Badamasi Adegoke Adelabu was a prominent figure in Ibadan politics and Western region before Nigeria's independence. He was a key founder.
Welcome back on Pertinent Questions. Yes, sir, we were talking about the fact that Nigerian government today expend as much as 90% of the total earning to service debt. Do you think that is sustainable? Are we spending as much as 6.1 trillion naira on fresh subsidy?
90% of the handing now to service debt.
Yeah.
Are they using that 90% now to do the first subsidy? That's the question. Are they using that debt they incurred to service the first subsidy?
But the minister said that they were actually borrowing to pay subsidy. She said she came out and said Nigeria government now borrows monthly to pay subsidy, just a commodity. And there are other areas of the economy begging for attention. Our roads are bad. Schools are not in good shape. Hospitals are not productive. Doctors are not well paid. So just one line consume as much as 6.1 trillion naira. Don't you think it's time that Nigerians sit down as a community and face this problem headlong?
Well, they've told them that we have about 3 or 4 refineries. Why can't we as a nation repair them and start producing at home? If we repair our refineries, I think now the thing will be reduced, isn't it? But some people, you are saying that some people now don't make it work. That's not the case. They don't want it to work.
Those are the people who are benefiting from subsidy.
There are few people.
So why must the workers and the labor movement support those who are benefiting?
Who are those few people benefiting?
Nigerians.
I did not part of
they are
government.
Businessmen.
They are part of government.
No, they are private people. They are not part of government. They are businessmen.
Because if Dangote could have one functional, so I will say even Osun State, Lagos State cannot have one. Look at. Let me give you an example. When Buhari was sick, Osibajo went to Niger Delta. He saw the modular refineries, and he said, it's good we encourage them. And even promised that he will make sure the federal government encourage them. When he gave the report, Buhari came, what happened? He was castigated. The fact is, some people now didn't want this to work because they are benefiting. But it's not workers, it's not general people, only few people. Click. They are the one now making things difficult so that they could benefit.
The PIB has been passed to law. Is now an act of the parliament.
Okay.
Which means there's a total deregulation of the oil sector. And for you to attract private participants within the space,
okay,
government must not have a single control. Even Dangote has said that it can't continue to pump into the market that is regulated by government, that must be left to the vagaries of the price, international price. That if government cannot, not in one hand, deregulate, in the other hand, still regulate. You can't deregulate and regulate at the same time. Okay.
Now the question is, a commoner, what will he gain from the government? If that is stopped.
Good roads, hospitals, schools, if they stop, regular payment of salary, salary increment.
If they stop it now, will that be good roads? There will not be good roads. It will be back to square one. That's the truth, my brother. That is the truth. So it's better let we commoners be gaining something from the government through them subsidy. Let us continue. Because I didn't say they said they borrowed 90%. Are they spending all those 90% borrowed that debt for subsidies? They are not. They are not. That's the question. So the fact is, let's have good governance. Let's have people now that can manage the economy. They don't have first pass. What Jonathan enjoyed is that he gathered all those experts. Everybody knows that he gathered them, all those experts that are really versatile. And they have the government. But once you don't have professionals, you don't have people now.
I know you are a labor activist.
Yes.
And you are an activist. But have you interrogated the fact that the economic ideology that we practice in Nigeria is capitalism, not socialism, not welfareism? If that is what we practice,
if you are practicing capitalism, if you are practicing
that means it's a free market economy.
No capitalism.
Then government has no business in business. Just regulate the environment.
You see, when we use all those terms,
yes,
we have to elaborate it. Capitalism is it the same thing as the practice in the US? The answer is no. It's not the same capitalism that practice in advanced countries.
What's the difference?
The difference is that the capitalists of Nigeria, they try to make sure they enslave everybody. No, the fact is that is the fact. They don't practice capitalism so that everybody can gain. Only few people, only click, we gain. No, that's capitalism.
In America,
yes,
a worker in the state of Georgia,
yes,
does not have the same thing with the worker in Washington, D.C.
Very good.
But you want parity.
Very good. No. Very good. But a worker in Georgia will be earning something like his catapults in that state.
In Georgia State, yes.
Yes, like other workers.
So there's no uniform salary structure.
That's what I'm saying. Even in Nigeria, we know that there's egalitarianism, there's equality. Nobody will complain. But by removing the first subsidy, look at the diesel now. They've removed subsidy on diesel. Diesel is about $8.50 per liter. How many organizations could afford that? Look at kerosene. Kerosene that villagers are using. This is a common thing villagers are using. It's about $7.30 or $7.50. How will they cope?
But do you know the energy crisis is a global phenomenon since the war started between Russia and Ukraine? Even in America, a gallon of
other countries, the fact is that other countries are managing their home. Other countries are managing their economy. Other countries are managing their monetary policy. Okay, dollar has not gone down. Despite that thing, pound sterling still maintains its dignity. Why is it that only naira will be going down? Because you don't export anything as a people. We import virtually everything. And you are even encouraging that we should import more fuel. Yes. That's what you are saying. Yes. We don't export nothing. We import everything. Why can't you be exporting? Don't you have something to export? Don't you have something to export? Where is our cocoa? Where's our coal? Where's our all those things? You see, the fact is people feel they get easy money. They feel they get easy money. Okay, let me give you an example. During the war of Ojukwu War, before Ojukwu War, Igbos, they were just enterprising. As you look at them, very enterprising and very creative. I was in Aba when I was Aba after the war. So in Aba market, I wanted those bags for our conference. They just took me to their leader. Said, how many bags? I said, about 1,000. He said, okay, can you wait for 3 hours? I said, when I'm coming back from Calabar. He said, no. You can give us 2 hours. He just called them. You go for 200. That's creativity by excellence. Now they've said that other people that you just get money from where you did so. So Igbos too, they are now the they don't struggle again. No, and that is what is happening in this country. Everybody now they want to be creative. They don't want to do this thing. They're just looking for easy money somewhere. And the country cannot go like that. When you have easy money, you cannot grow. You are not creative. You don't allow creativity. You don't allow flexibility. You don't allow those things. And you are saying capitalism. So that's not the case. Though. Don't you think it's important for the Nigerian government, either the one you like or the one you don't like, sit on the same table with workers as equal stakeholders and discuss art to art, reality for reality, and take pragmatic decisions that will move this nation forward, not just canvassing sentiment? Exactly. I like your term, pragmatic decision. How can you do pragmatic decision when some sectors are enjoying than the other? You know, these people are not ready. That's not the fact. If they sit down with workers. These people, you mean the political class? Yes. They say, okay, this is your salary. Is this? Let us cut our home. And they make sure they cut it, and they make political office just how will I call it? They make it temporary. You just get city allowance. Nobody will be interested again. Nobody will be interested again. If they say make it okay, don't be getting allowances, don't be getting city allowance, everything like this. Nobody will be interested again. But they know there's rich money there that within a month you become a millionaire. So that's not the case. So if you want to do that, you go with a clear ass. So you are supporting what Mr. Peter Obi said? No, that's not the case. That's reality. That when a nation that politics is more attractive than business and industry is a nation that produces poverty. Yeah, exactly. So let them go there with clean hands. Let them discuss. Okay, let's start by saying let's call the political jamboree salaries. What they did that one. Okay, what shall we do about this thing? All those things now they remove now. They can use it for subsidy. It's enough for subsidy, isn't it? Don't you see it's enough for subsidy? If they call political other salaries, they can use that on subsidy so that commoners will be enjoying. It's not up to that. It's not up to 6.1 trillion. It will be up to that. It will be up to that. You want the state of the federation? They cut that of Abuja, cut of other states. No, it will be up to that a month.
6.2 trillion.
So are they spending that 6.2 trillion? Is that the actual money they are spending, or exaggeration?
Yeah.
They are not spending that. If they are not spending up to that, they are just exaggerating so that they deceive us.
Taking cognizance your experience.
Nigerian politicians, are they straightforward? Don't they tell lies?
Are Nigerian workers straightforward?
Very, very.
Are Nigerians straightforward?
No, workers.
You see, let me say this. With due respect, people have said that most often than not, Nigerians are not realistic, that we are even very hypocritical, that we heap the blame of mismanagement on politicians, that a nation deserves the leaders it gets. No. That even the followers in Nigeria are as corrupt.
You see, the fact is,
the leaders that we have. Why are you excusing the followers and the workers?
Can we continue that way? Look at what happened in Britain of recent. Why did they remove Boris Johnson?
Yeah.
Because he did a party during
COVID-19 lockdown.
And the party he did now was his office, his house. You see, can you remove any Nigerian leader like that? You know, it's not possible. All those things. Let's face reality. In Nigeria, everything goes. When somebody does something, say, I've done it. Look at of recent in Nasarawa. I mean, in Adamawa. You know, it's not. Are we not too animalistic? Are we human beings?
We are human.
Look at what he did. A same man does that. He
went against the rules.
If you call yourself a lawyer who knows the law, and you are arbiter, you are this thing, and just take everybody for granted.
I know.
No, these are the things that what will they do? They can't do anything. They can't do anything. And they said the man has run away now, that has gone to the thing here. They know where he went.
He has gone into hiding.
How can you allow him to go? He should face sanction. He should be punished so that others now will not do that in future. That's not the case. But when they allow him to go, that's all. In the next election, people will do that. People have been doing that in local elections. Look at all those state elections. They will say this party in government clear everything. Is it true? Is that? You know, we cannot grow until all those things now.
Take into cognizance your experience, Chief Wale Oyeniyi. If today you are privileged to be locked in the same room with the incoming president, that you'll be sworn in, all things being equal, on the 29th of May, what advice will you give him?
Let me be realistic. If I want to be realistic, I have studied him, though I'm not close to him. But I know whatever advice I give to him, he may not take it. Because when I consider his background in Lagos, and Lagos people, what they do, they said anything goes. You know, you don't advise those type of people. Once you advise them now, they don't say you don't know what they're talking about.
But by providence is the president.
What?
And on the 29th of May, he'll be the president. And his mistakes, his actions and inactions will have consequences on you and I.
You see, something amused me. When Bush Jr., when he became the president, someone just said, he's not the president of USA, United States of America, but not my own president. That's how that man said it. He said, you're not my president. Even this King Charles, they say, you are not my king. Because you did this, you did that. You are not my king. You may be king of anybody, but not my own king. Right. So until we see him performing, until we see changes in him, until we see him now, you believe he lacks the character and the antecedent to perforn as president? You see, but Nigerians have so elected him. 8.something million Nigerians have elected him. If they want to elect any advanced country president, they look at antecedents, isn't it? Yes. They look at primary school, secondary school. They look at what you did there. They look at what when you were chancellor. They look what you did. But if Nigerians don't look at all those things, look at one man in Kano who had just killed somebody. He's there now for about 5 times. This man has suffered. I've met him when I was Abuja. The house leader. The house leader. I met him when I was Abuja. We had a meeting with him when we were on strike. He now appeared to say that he had 19 children. He told us that 5 wives. That how do you want me to? I know these people now. They believe politics politics should not be anybody's job. It shouldn't be anybody's job. It's not anybody's vocation. You have your own job, but this man I'm talking about has no other job. So he believes all these children will be fed through the politics. He told us that he was begging us, where do you want my children to be? I have 19 children. I still want to have another wife. Having by that time he had 5 wives. So that's not the case in Nigeria. So
and it's the beauty of democracy anyway.
Democracy. Well, democracy in Nigerian context. In Nigerian context, you know, you have the main definition.
It says majority will have their way,
have many definitions,
and the minority will have their say.
Definitions of
so
democracy.
8.some million people
if it's a Nigerian
have elected
African definition of democracy.
Tinubu in their wisdom or lack of it.
Well, they've elected him.
So you are indifferent. And it's not your president.
I didn't vote for him. Until he changes, maybe my president. Now, it's not my president.
But you are in Nigeria.
I'm in Nigeria.
Shall I expect you to just to japa like others? Are you leaving Nigeria?
No. If
so you are not deporting yourself?
No. But the fact is, I'm not happy that we don't have good leaders.
But those who are not happy have elected to japa and to leave the nation.
That's why we have problems. Problems continue. You know, there are problems continue in this country. It will continue.
So you don't believe in renewing hope. You are hopeless.
Okay. I see you. I won't see. Because personally, I don't believe, except God may do wonder if it changes. If the party changes its policy.
And I think we should put our hope in God.
Even the party has to change their ideology. They have to change the ideology. They have to change how they visualize Nigerians, how they visualize the commoners, how they visualize teachers, how they visualize workers. They have to change it. That we want to serve people. We want people now to benefit. You just see them talking and all those things. Well.
Chiwalo Yeni,
yes,
I want to thank you so very much for coming on Pertinent Questions. Viewers, that has been Pertinent Questions, and we have looked at the Nigerian worker within the Nigerian milieu, celebrating May Day, Workers' Day, or International Labour's Day. I want to thank you for being with us on this program today. The next week, we shall come your way with another personality, another topic. This is a convenient spot to draw the curtain onto this edition of Pertinent Questions. Thanks for watching. I remain Femi Adefila. See you next week. Thank you.